Okay, sorry. Yeah, so we had seen how glucose is converted into pyruvic acid, like two molecules of pyruvic acid in a systematic in a systematic series of reactions, each catalyzed by a different enzymes. Okay, in that we had seen there are few reactions in which the ATPs are actually invested, and ultimately in a second phase, that is the payoff phase, the number of ATPs which are yielded were 4, and out of 4 then we had seen that the net gain, which was 4 minus 2, was 2 ATPs in case of glycolysis. Okay, so first I will just finish up this glycolysis ka thoda sa part which we had missed last time, and after that we will clear out all the doubts jo last time puche the, and then we will move forward with the alcoholic and the lactic acid fermentation part. Okay, so I hope you understood what is glycolysis and how the reactions are taking place. So it is an overall reaction, as I just mentioned. We know we are having glucose as the raw material, where we are giving two molecules of ATP. I hope you remember कहाँ पे हम लोग ATP use कर रहे हैं. The first reaction was glucose to glucose 6 phosphate. The second reaction was fructose 6 phosphate to fructose 1,6 diphosphate. ये दो जगह पे हम लोग ATPs use कर रहे थे. Okay, that is the phosphorylation reaction. Then there was ADPs which are required, 4 ADPs which are required in the second phase, that is the payoff phase, plus one molecule or two molecules of NAD plus. Okay, so ultimately if we just sum up all the reactions, जो 10 reactions हमने देखे थे in case of glycolysis, you will get the one reaction, that is glucose plus 2 ATPs plus 2 inorganic phosphate plus 4 ADP plus 2 NAD plus will give us two molecules of pyruvic acid plus two molecules of ADP plus 4 molecules of ATP plus 2 molecule of NADH plus H plus, and with the release of 2 molecules of water. So this is just the overall reaction, nothing else. So इसको देख के डरने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. And अगर तुम लोग को the entire pathway समझा रहेगा, so you don't even need to mug up this reaction. तुम लोग को पहले से ही पता रहेगा कि okay, ग्लाइकोलिसिस में सबसे पहले क्या लगता है हमको, ग्लूकोज चाहिए. फिर उसके बाद कुछ एटीपीस चाहिए. कितने एटीपीस चाहिए? तो 2 एटीपीस चाहिए. सो दैट एटीपी विल कम इन पिक्चर. उसके बाद क्या चाहिए हम लोग को? एडीपी एंड इनऑर्गेनिक फॉस्फेट चाहिए, जो कि हम लोग सेकेंड फेज में यूज करते हैं, पे ऑफ फेज में. एंड फाइनली वी नीड अ कोएंजाइम लाइक अ एनएडी प्लस. Ultimately what we all are getting from the glycolysis, so 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 4 molecules of ATP, 2 molecules of NADH, and 2 ADPs are then again we are getting from the ATP phosphorylation. Okay, and there is a release of 2 molecules of H2O. So I hope you remember कहाँ पे हम लोग को H2O मिल रहा है. Which reaction is giving us from which reaction the H2O is released? Anyone? कौन सा reaction है dehydration?
2-phosphoglycerate to 2-phosphoenol pyruvate.
Very good. So
PGA to post.
yeah, it's 2 PGA to PEP. That is a 2 phosphoglycerate to 2 phosphoenol. That is the वन रिएक्शन जहाँ पे डिहाइड्रेशन हो रहा है. और ये रिएक्शन कौन कैटलाइज कर रहा है?
Enolase.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. सो सी ऐसे क्वेश्चन हम लोग को पूछे जा सकते हैं इन केस ऑफ एमसीक्यू. सो यू नीड टू कीप इन माइंड कि कौन से एंजाइम्स कौन सा रिएक्शन कैटलाइज करता है. आई नो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट जाएगा, बट दिस इज मस्ट. मतलब देयर इज नो एस्केप. जो लोग स्पेशली नीट के लिए प्रिपेयर करें उनके लिए तो नो एस्केप. यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड रिएक्शंस एंड उनका कोफैक्टर्स एंड द कैटलिस्ट. ओके, या समृद्धि, डू यू वांट टू से समथिंग? मतलब तुम्हारा अनम्यूट हुआ है. Okay, if you are saying something, I'm not really able to hear anything. Fine. Okay, so this is just the overall reaction of glycolysis. Now if you see the pathway, there are few reactions which are reversible, few which are irreversible, and there is another pathway known as gluconeogenesis, which is just opposite to what we have seen in a glycolysis. तो ग्लाइकोलिसिस में क्या होता है, हम लोग ग्लूकोज से पायरुवेट एसिड बना रहे हैं. In case of gluconeogenesis, which is just opposite to glycolysis, we are actually synthesizing glucose from the different material, okay, raw material. So why this particular pathway is important? Because as I mentioned, it is giving us energy. Secondly, it is the basis of many evolutionary pathways. Okay, and this pathway is one of the most tightly regulated or controlled pathway. Okay, and it depends on multiple factors, but few important ones are ATP chahiye, because if we do not do phosphorylation in a preparatory phase, I don't think we can prepare the required material which can then enter into payoff phase. So ATP to chahiye hi chahiye. Second one is the glycolytic rate control is actually मतलब ये जो एंटायर पाथवे है 10 रिएक्शन का, ये कंट्रोल करना इज एक्चुअली a complex process, okay, and there is a lot of things which are involved. Like the very first will be again the ATP consumption, then the cofactor regeneration, that is NADH2, not cofactor, I'm sorry, coenzyme regeneration, and then regulation of various glycolytic enzymes. So there are 3 enzymes which play a very important role in the glycolysis. Those are hexokinase, very first reaction, phosphofructokinase 1, that is from fructose 6 phosphate to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate conversion, and the pyruvate kinase, which is like PEP to pyruvate. Okay, so these are the 3 important reactions, which 3 important enzymes which catalyzes the reactions, and that actually regulates the entire pathway. And this, if you see the pathway very carefully, only these 3 reactions are irreversible. However, all other reactions in the glycolytic pathway are reversible. So now you need to find out why these pathways are irreversible and why others are reversible. Okay, so that is a homework for you. Apart from that, I had given a homework to you all in the last lecture regarding the enzymes which we had studied. So anyone has completed and can tell me to which category aldolase belong?
Isomerase.
Aldolase.
So lysis.
Yeah, it is lysis. Sharon, what is the rate? What is the role of isomerase?
Lysis है.
तो वो देखो ऐसे एक्साइटेड ने आके रॉन्ग अगर मार्क करके आ गए तो टोटल 5 मार्क जाएंगे, 4 तो गए ही गए, एक क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग गया तो, एंड 1 विल गो फॉर नेगेटिव मार्किंग. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल. ठीक है, फाइन. तो आई होप सबने किया है ये सब होमवर्क, बिकॉज सी दिस इज नॉट गोना हेल्प मी इन एनी वे. तुम लोग करोगे ना करोगे, इट इज रियली नॉट गोना हेल्प मी, या फिर मुझे कुछ खुशी मिलेगा या फिर मैं तेजस के लिए कर रहा हूँ, ऐसा कुछ तो बिल्कुल मैं मिलाना नहीं. दिस इज ऑल बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली जब तुम अपने प्रिपरेशन करोगे लाइक एंट्रेंस या फिर बोर्ड्स का, दिस विल रियली हेल्प यू अ लॉट. एंड हैंडमेड नोट्स इज बेटर देन एनी अदर रेफरेंस बुक. आई डोंट नो तुम लोग क्या रेफर करो एट दिस मोमेंट. यू माइट बी रेफरिंग क्लासेस का नोट्स, या फिर प्रदीप और अरिहंत, या फिर मॉडर्न एबीसी एंड ऑल. देयर आर हंड्रेड्स ऑफ बुक्स अवेलेबल फॉर नेट प्रिपरेशन. बट ये सब में से सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि तुम लोग का हैंडमेड नोट्स, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट रियली पॉसिबल टू गो थ्रू द एंटायर. आई होप यू नो अरिहंत का बुक देखा रहेगा किसने. इट इज लाइक द मतलब इतना बड़ा बुक है कि एक दिन पहले वी कैन नॉट रियली रेफर each and everything from that book, right? So we need to extract things. तो अभी से वो extraction process चालू करो और अपने बुक में लिखना चालू करो, so that you can get sufficient amount of notes till like till the point you are get तुम लोग का एंट्रेंस का वीक या फिर मंथ आएगा. तो फोकस ऑन मेकिंग अप द नोट्स. ये मैं आई थिंक सबसे फर्स्ट लेक्चर से बता भी आ रहा हूँ कि प्रिपेयर योर ओन नोट्स. जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट. Sorry. So yeah, coming back to the reactions again. So as I mentioned, there are 3 important enzymes which are actually regulating the entire pathway, and you need to tell me why it is so. Okay. Apart from that, this particular pathway is also controlled by some other factors. Very important one is the hormones. What are hormones?
Protein.
Yeah, protein. तो क्या है, क्यों है, उनका काम क्या है, वो कौन बनाता है?
Gland.
Glands.
या बट कौन से ग्लैंड्स? ऐसे तुम लोग मतलब यू विल से मी वन वन वर्ड एंड आई विल कनेक्ट, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। मैंने ये लास्ट टाइम ये बोला था, यू नीड टू टेल मी थोड़ा सा एक लाइन एटलीस्ट, राइट? सो
Endocrine and exocrine glands.
ओके,
These are the chemical messengers which release chemicals in small proportion to for the homeostasis and for maintenance and mostly for balancing.
ओके, एनीवन एल्स वांट टू करेक्ट अक्षय या फिर ऐड ऑन समथिंग टू व्हाट ही हैड जस्ट सेड? बस बाकी लोग तो लाइक हम लोग तो सो रहे, डू नॉट डिस्टर्ब अस। Yeah, where is Nikita? Nikita, Ajinkya, Anuj, Mayuresh. I hope people are still awake and listening what we are discussing. Okay, because ये वापस से अगर कोई आके बोला कि डिस्कस करना है, sorry boss, नहीं होगा. So yeah, so actually you are correct. Just one correction. Hormones are chemical messengers, correct, but they are the secretions of only endocrine glands. Okay, not exocrine glands. So it is hormones which are synthesized and secreted, not synthesized, we can say, well, it depends which hormone it is. So there are two types of glands in our body, endocrine gland and exocrine gland. Endocrine glands are the ones who actually secrete the hormones, and these glands are called as ductless glands. So they directly release their secretions into blood circulation, and these secretions are hormones. That is not the case in case of exocrine gland, which actually has a different ducts and tubules which will carry out their secretions. That is the only correction. Rest whatever you have said is correct. Okay, so there are these three hormones: glucagon, epinephrine, and insulin, which are regulating this particular glycolytic pathway. So do you have any idea what is glucagon, what is epinephrine, or what is insulin? Any idea?
Insulin pancreas बनसते.
About epinephrine.
Glucagon alpha cells
Wait,
in
wait, wait.
pancreas.
Yeah, wait. So first Sharon ने start किया था. So we will go with Sharon first. Yeah, Sharon, complete first.
Insulin pancreas बना.
हाँ,
इंसुलिन कम होने से डायबिटीज 1 होता है.
Okay, fine.
इंसुलिन हार्मोन.
Okay, fine. Yes, next was Akshay.
Yes, sir. Epinephrine is released by adrenal gland and it is fright, flight, and fight response.
Very good.
Epinephrine and norepinephrine.
Yeah, very good, very good. What are the other names for epinephrine and norepinephrine? इसको कुछ और भी हम लोग बोलते हैं. Fine, find it out. Okay. Next, yeah, Nikita, you were saying something. Yes, Nikita.
Glucagon secreted by alpha cell in pancreas.
Very good. So basically, glucagon और insulin का function same है या there is some difference in the function of two? So Sharon ने बोला कि इंसुलिन अगर कम हुआ तो डायबिटीज होता है. Will the same go for glucagon?
Glucagon blood sugar control करते हैं.
Yeah, very good. Even insulin controls the blood sugar, right? So दोनों में दोनों में difference क्या है फिर?
1 2.
What 1 2?
Sir, alpha cells secrete glucagon and beta cells secrete inositol.
Yeah, correct. No doubt in that. So she Nikita mentioned that, right? So I am asking कि दोनों में difference क्या है? दोनों में ग्लूकोज लेवल कंट्रोल करती, तुम लोगों ने ही बोला. So what is the difference? ग्लूकोज लेवल कंट्रोल करते मतलब कैसे कंट्रोल करते, कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंस होगा, राइट? नहीं तो दोनों पे एक ही सेल बना सकते थे. Why do we need alpha cells and beta cells? Anyone, any idea?
हेलो सर।
हाँ.
सर जो अपना इंसुलिन रहता है
हम्म.
वो हेल्प करता है सेल को ग्लूकोज एब्जॉर्ब करने के लिए ना,
हम्म.
और ग्लूकागॉन जो रहता है सर वो मतलब कि रिलीज करता है स्टोर्ड ग्लूकोज।
Very good. So yeah. So Anuj is correct. So मतलब okay. Whatever he has said is like पूरा एक्सट्रैक्शन में हम लोग बोल सकते हैं या दैट इज द होल मोरल ऑफ द स्टोरी। तो ग्लूकागॉन का रोल है कि ब्लड शुगर मतलब अगर कम हुआ रहेगा तो उसको बढ़ाना, एंड इंसुलिन का काम है कि ब्लड शुगर अगर बढ़ा रहेगा तो उसको कम करना। अल्टीमेटली दोनों का काम सेम है। यू सेड इट वेरी करेक्टली। दोनों का काम क्या है? टू कंट्रोल द ब्लड शुगर लेवल, बट द मैकेनिज्म बाय विच इट हैपेंस डिफर्स। तो एक का काम है वो, मतलब दोनों का भी काम वही है कि कंट्रोल करना है, बट इट डिपेंड्स कि क्या सिनारियो है। तो हाइपरग्लाइसेमिक कंडीशन है या हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक कंडीशन है। ऑन दिस ऑल फैक्टर्स इट विल डिपेंड कि कौन सा हार्मोन शुड बी एक्टिव एंड कैसे। एंड एज Akshay has clearly said, it is produced in very small amount. So this control and coordination is very, so we call it neuroendocrine coordination या फिर control and coordination, जहाँ पे अपना neurons, अपना brain, spinal cord and these hormones are actually working in a kind of cascade। मतलब वो दोनों एक साथ काम करते हैं in order to maintain the balance in the body. Okay, so this is just for information given in your book, so I thought it's important because in case of your MCQs, this exokinase 3, PFK1, pyruvate kinase, and the hormones there will be of importance. Okay, so apart from this, in your book they have given few questions. As you can, if you just go in the glycolysis part, in one box there are some questions. In a second box they have given few more details about glycolysis कि वो क्यों important है, वो किसमें होता है, किसमें नहीं होता है, kind of thing. That is just for your information, and I would say कि just read it once. अगर नहीं समझा तो we will discuss it again in a class, but most of the things which are already discussed, which are there in that box given in your book, are already discussed during the lecture. So कुछ issue तो होना नहीं चाहिए, but please read it and then we can always discuss it in a class अगर कोई doubt होगा। Okay, so with this we are done with the glycolysis part. Okay, चलो तो उसके बाद let's finish up this two part also, so that we will be done with the anaerobic respiration, and then we will do the doubt difficulty session. And if time mila, so we can start with the aerobic respiration also. So till now, with respect to glycolysis, if you are having any question, please let me know. I hope there are no questions with respect to glycolysis. So this is the second important. So as I mentioned, glycolysis is the common step, right? It will occur in case of both aerobic organisms as well as anaerobic organisms. So now we will first finish up the anaerobic part. So actually in your book, in kind of like, I don't know what these people do, but बहुत short में सब कुछ दिया है. In the old book, if you see, you will find the proper pathways and the reactions they are given in the detail. So if anyone gets a copy of old book of biology, please go through it once. In case of last year, like previous syllabus, respiration and photosynthesis was a part of 12th standard. So if you get the 12th standard biology book, old wala, so please read it. Or else even if you are referring NCERT वगैरह, तो I think उसमें भी तुम लोग को बहुत कुछ मिल जाएगा. So I will just suggest, please, as in when we are like discussing something in a class, go and read NCERT as well. But first read your state board book. Directly बड़ा कुछ खाने के लिए जाने का नहीं. Step wise ही we will be going. So please. But why I'm suggesting this, because I realized one thing, that there are many things which are missing in your book. So they have made the syllabus very much advanced, which is a good in a way. But on the name of advancement, we cannot really skip and miss out on some important topics, जो कि actually हुआ है यहाँ पे. So just to cover up that particular part, I'm suggesting you to go to the old book, or you can also go to the NCERT. Okay, so that is fine. So in case of anaerobic respiration, एक बार glycolysis से pyruvic acid बन गया, so that pyruvic acid will be then processed further, and it can be giving you two different products. It can be either lactic acid or it can also be a alcohol, that is the ethanol. Okay, so first we will discuss about how lactic acid fermentation takes place. So there are two cases lactic acid fermentation का. एक तो अपनी बॉडी में जो होता है वो because of the oxygen limitation की वजह से, and secondly there are few organisms which are supposed to do lactic acid fermentation. मतलब उनका काम ही है, they survive on this kind of mechanism. So oxygen है नहीं है, that doesn't matter to them. They just need a pyruvic acid that can be converted into the lactic acid. So first we will discuss what is lactic acid fermentation in case of muscles. Okay, so in case of muscles, the coenzyme NADH plus H plus, which is produced during the glycolysis, is reoxidized to NAD plus. Okay, how it is happening? So we have to oxidize it. Basically, when we say oxidation, क्या होता है? Oxidation क्या होता है? Removal of H plus, gain of electrons, or
Addition of oxygen.
yes, and
Increase in oxidation state.
yeah, very good. So these four things you need to keep in mind. Okay, so here also the same thing happening. There is a release of H plus and gain of electrons. Sorry, loss of electrons to pyruvic acid, and which will be giving you a lactic acid. The reaction is catalyzed by a enzyme known as lactic acid dehydrogenase. Okay, lactic acid dehydrogenase. So pyruvic acid can be directly converted into lactic acid if this enzyme is present. Okay, so that in such cases, the skeletal muscles usually derive the energy by the anaerobic respiration. Okay, and but the problem here is like after a certain time, as I mentioned, that's why in the last time also when Sharon has asked this question कि lactic acid के बारे में, तो मैंने बताया this is temporary, this is not permanent. Why temporary? Because let's say a gym person doing a vigorous exercise in a on a daily basis, और फिर एकदम 2-3 घंटा कर दिया, तो in this case उसका body का जो pace रहेगा, that will be very much faster, and the rate of glycolysis can be slower, like थोड़ा सा slow रहेगा. So there will be no sufficient amount of oxygen available, and that's why जो भी pyruvic acid बना रहेगा, that cannot be really processed further by aerobic respiration pathway. In such cases, the pyruvic acid will be converted into lactic acid. But the problem is like this lactic acid will be then accumulated into the muscles, and that will lead to the muscle fatigue. Okay. So that's why they also feel some kind of pain, joint pain वगैरह, because there is accumulation of lactic acid. But that is a very temporary kind of condition, because during the rest, lactic acid जैसे ही मतलब body normal हो जाएगा, so lactic acid will be again reconverted into pyruvic acid, which is again which was our main end product of the glycolysis. And then this particular pyruvic acid then again channel to the aerobic respiration pathway, जहाँ पे वो pyruvic acid को हम लोग further process करेंगे by Krebs cycle and the ATS. Okay, so this is just one condition which takes place in our muscles. As I mentioned, there are few bacteria and few other microorganisms जहाँ पे वो लोग purposely करते हैं, where the enzyme known as lactate dehydrogenase is present. Okay, please note it down. Okay, lactate dehydrogenase, the enzyme which reversibly can convert pyruvic acid to lactic acid. Or I hope I am clear enough. So if you can see the reaction here, it's very simple. Glucose after glycolic acid, our glycolysis we got pyruvic acid and NADH plus H plus, which will be then converted into lactic acid अगर oxygen present नहीं होगा तो. Okay, and the NAD plus coenzyme will be released. So this is just one type of anaerobic respiration we can say. Now this is another important जो maximum times follow होता है when we talk about the anaerobic respiration. Sorry. Okay, known as the alcoholic fermentation. So this is very commonly observed in most of the bacteria, and also Yeast is the best example to study this kind of fermentation because it is a facultative anaerobe. So in case of yeast, the pyruvate is actually decarboxylated to acetaldehyde. So to note it down, okay, in case of lactic acid fermentation, there is no decarboxylation reaction involved. However, in case of alcoholic fermentation, there are 3 reactions. पहला तो obviously glycolysis, then decarboxylation, and then finally the fermentation. Okay, in case of lactic acid, there is no decarboxylation reaction involved. Okay, so in case of yeast, जो भी pyruvate बनाया रहेगा by glycolysis process, that will be decarboxylated to acetaldehyde by the enzyme decarboxylase. Okay, and ये जो acetaldehyde produce हुआ है अभी in this particular reaction, that will be then further reduced by NADH plus H plus to ethanol, which will be taking place under the process of fermentation. Okay, and during this fermentation, the CO2 will be again produced and that will be released outside. So that's why you must have seen any fermentation, even a simple idli, dokla, in this case, CO2 is an important factor. जितना CO2 release होता है उतना soft and all that kind of उसका texture वगैरह वो सब depend करता है, right? So this is one of the important type of anaerobic respiration, and since the ultimate product which is जो हम लोग को मिल रहा है from the acetaldehyde is ethanol, that is C2H5OH. So that's why this is called as alcoholic fermentation. But then, and this is, as I mentioned, this is carried out very commonly by many anaerobic organisms, and yeast is one of the best example, because if you know wine, beers and any alcoholic beverages, ये कैसे बनते हैं, ये यही मेथड से बनते हैं, and yeast is the important organism जो वो बनाने में help करता है. So, but there are few issues also which were there are a few issues जो बाद में समझ में आए कि मतलब जब उसका yield कम आता है या फिर we see the efficiency of the fermentation is not that much. तो वो क्यों होता है? Because there is accumulation of ethanol by fermentation in the culture. Obviously, up to a certain limit कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा, but जैसे जैसे अल्कोहल का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बढ़ेगा इन अ कल्चर, व्हेन आई से कल्चर, इट मींस एक बड़ा सा इन केस ऑफ फर्मेंटेशन ना, एक बड़ा सा ऐसा वेसल टाइप रहता है जिसको हम लोग रिएक्टर बोलते हैं, जिसके अंदर एक टिपिकल ब्रॉथ या फिर मीडिया रहता है. व्हेन आई से ब्रॉथ और द मीडिया, दैट इज नथिंग बट अ फूड फॉर द ईस्ट, एंड इसमें हम लोग ईस्ट को डालेंगे सिंस वी आर गिविंग द ब्रॉथ दैट व्हिच कंटेन्स द फूड, एंड ईस्ट इज एकदम स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ ईस्ट उसमें डाल लेंगे. So because of the available food, the yeast will start growing. Anyone knows how much time the yeast will take to grow, like from 1 cell to 2 cells and 2 to 4 cells? उसका डिवीजन टाइम कितना है या फिर डबलिंग टाइम कितना है? Anyone, any idea? Okay, it is approximately 80 minutes. Okay, so it takes about 80 minutes to divide. Okay, so इन अ वे जैसे हम लोग कल्चर को डालेंगे, द ईस्ट विल स्टार्ट ग्रो, जैसे हम लोग कल्चर बनाएंगे उसमें द ईस्ट विल स्टार्ट ग्रोइंग, जैसे हम उसको ऐड करेंगे इन ब्रॉथ, एंड देन इट विल स्टार्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग द pyruvic acid, which will be then converted into acetaldehyde and finally to the ethanol. So after a point, the amount of ethanol in a culture will be quite high, and that will affect the growth of the yeast. Okay, see, that is called as something like inhibitory effect of the alcohol, because alcohol even the yeast खुद बना रहा है, that doesn't mean कि उसको कुछ होगा नहीं. Alcohol is one of the kind of what we can say a solvent, right? So it can affect yeast cells. So it was observed that after a particular point, जैसे alcohol का concentration एक particular level तक जाता है, after that particular level, or we can say threshold, there will be no further multiplication of the yeast cells, so cells grow नहीं हो पाएंगे and ultimately they die. So we have to रेगुलेट वेरी 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 प्रॉपरली कि कितने तक जा रहा है अल्कोहल का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन और कितने तक मेरे ईस्ट कैन सर्वाइव. because अगर cells ही मर गए तो there will be no further production of alcohol in a culture, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. Okay, so and the moment the yeast get the oxygen, it will stop doing the alcoholic fermentation and it will switch to the aerobic respiration. So you have to maintain the anaerobic conditions as well if you are planning to do any kind of alcohol production. Okay, so in case of alcohol fermentation, there are 3 steps as I mentioned: glycolysis, decarboxylation and fermentation. Glycolysis में हम लोग को ग्लूकोज से पायरुविक एसिड मिलेगा. In case of decarboxylation, pyruvic acid से acetaldehyde मिलेगा. And in case of fermentation, the produced acetaldehyde will be converted into ethanol. Okay, the same reaction is given in this diagram here. So you can see glucose का pyruvic acid बनाया, acetaldehyde and finally ethanol. There are multiple factors. However, the concentration of the alcohol and the oxygen availability plays a major role over here. Okay, I hope this is clear. Kuch doubts hai with respect to lactic acid fermentation and the alcoholic fermentation? Any doubts? Yes, no? आगे बढ़ो. Yeah.
लैक्टिक एसिड का अक्यूमुलेशन मसल्स में होता है, तो फिर ये अल्कोहल का किधर होता है?
नहीं सी हाँ, अल्कोहल का ये अपने बॉडी में नहीं होता है, अल्कोहल फर्मेंटेशन. ओके, ये इन केस ऑफ दिस ये तो नेचर में होता है. नेचर में एज इन ये हम लोग करवाते हैं उससे. और अगर कोई नॉर्मल बैक्टीरिया रहेगा तो वो तो मतलब दे कैन जस्ट रिलीज इट आउट. तो इन केस ऑफ इस जब मैं बोलता हूँ कि मैं कल्चर, जैसे मैंने बोला कि बड़ा सा वेसल होता है, उसमें मैं ब्रॉथ डालूंगा या ब्रॉथ एज इन मतलब मैं उसका इसके लिए खाना रखूंगा और उसमें मैंने इसको ग्रो कर दिया. तो इन दिस केस जैसे जैसे ईस्ट का ग्रोथ होगा, yeast will start secreting the components which will be like the alcohol will be outside the cells. So वो जो मेरा मीडिया रहेगा जिसमें मैंने सेल्स को डाला है, which is a liquid material, उसमें ही मेरा अल्कोहल रिलीज होता रहेगा. आफ्टर अ पॉइंट जैसे ही मुझे समझा कि मेरा अल्कोहल का अमाउंट नाउ हैज रीच्ड टू अ पर्टिकुलर लेवल एंड आई कैन यूज इट, तो मैं वो पर्टिकुलर लिक्विड मीडियम से सेल्स को निकाल दूंगा और जो भी बचा हुआ रहेगा उसको मैं आगे प्रोसेस करूंगा. फिर हम लोग उससे डिस्टिलेशन करते हैं, उसका क्वालिटी चेकिंग होगा, उसका प्योरिटी होगा, वो सब आगे का डाउनस्ट्रीम प्रोसेसिंग बोलते हैं उसको, वो किया जाएगा. तो देयर विल बी नो एज सच मतलब it will not happen within the cell. Okay, so alcoholic fermentation तो ये outside ही होता है, like it will be released outside the body, not inside the body.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, fine. अगर नहीं है तो so with this we have finished the part of anaerobic respiration given in your syllabus. The very first was glycolysis, which was a very much detailed thing, and then a very brief about alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. Okay, so the anaerobic respiration part is completed today. So just one question I want to ask you all. So from this all the 3 processes जो अभी हमने study किए, what do you think, what is the total number of ATPs which are obtained from the anaerobic respiration?
2 ATP.
Two.
Yeah, और वो कहाँ पे बन रहे हैं?
Glycolysis.
Yeah. Is there any kind of ATP formation during
No.
alcoholic fermentation या फिर lactic acid fermentation?
No.
Yeah. So that's why in case of in case of anaerobic respiration, only 2 ATPs are obtained, and that 2 are obtained from the process of glycolysis. Okay. Another important question जो बहुत commonly पूछा जाता है. Okay. So it's 7:57. Fine. So today we are having a 1.5 hour class, right? So before going to the next part of the, so what do you want? Should we just complete out the next part of the respiration, or we should first finish up the doubt difficulties, or and then go back to Krebs cycle? Tell me. जो तुम बोलोगे वो हम करेंगे. Yeah. बोलो. So if you are in a complete flow कि okay अभी respiration ही खत्म करना है, we can do that first and then I will go to the doubt difficulty part. Or if you want कि okay अभी anaerobic खत्म हुआ है, let's finish up the doubt वाला part जो कल पूछे थे, sorry on Sunday जो तुम लोगों ने मुझे पूछे थे, and then we will jump to aerobic respiration अगर time मिला तो. Okay, since you are not saying anything, let's first finish up this part. Okay, so these are some questions जो तुम लोगों ने मुझे last time पूछे थे in the last class, and I had said that we will discuss in a next class. So all of you जो सो रहे हैं, जो और कुछ क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, I don't know, please be active now because I will not really repeat अगर किसी ने same question वापस से पूछा तो. So very first question, मतलब there are many questions, so I will go step wise. So first question was based on the mitosis. I really don't remember किसने पूछा, I'm sorry for that. But the question was what is the closed mitosis and what is the anestral mitosis and all. Okay, so first हम लोग देखेंगे कि what are the different types of mitosis, and even in the last lecture मैंने वो explain किया था in very brief, but I said कि okay let me confirm कि जो मैंने बोला है वो सही है या नहीं. So in the last lecture जो मैंने बताया था that was correct. When I say open mitosis or a closed mitosis, the basic difference is based on the nuclear membrane. Okay, so we all know nuclear membrane disappears in case of the normal eukaryotic cells. During which phase? कब disappear होगा वो?
Prophase.
Yeah, during the prophase. So in some organisms, so in such case, this is a normal thing which happens in most of the eukaryotic cells, that the nuclear membrane disappears in the prophase, and in which phase it will reappear?
Telophase.
Very good. So in case of at the end of the mitosis, that is during the telophase, it will again reappear and then followed by the cytokinesis जहाँ पे दो daughter cells मिल जाएंगी ultimately. Okay, so this is a normal type of mitosis known as open mitosis जहाँ पे nuclear membrane will break down before the chromosomes are separating and ultimately it will reappear at the end. But in some organisms, for example, there are few fungus species or fungi we can say. In this organism, there is something called as closed mitosis is observed, and the term closed itself indicates that there is something related to nuclear membrane. So जैसे कि मैंने last time भी बोला था, the same is actually true. In this case, the nuclear membrane is actually intact. Okay, so there is no breakdown of the nuclear membrane, and it will be actually present throughout the process of like जैसे chromosomal separation होगा, फिर prophase and prophase, metaphase, anaphase वगैरह वो सब कर करके it will complete the process of mitosis, but then there will be no degradation of degradation of nuclear membrane as such. Okay, so वो intact रहेगा throughout the process, and this kind of closed mitosis is observed mainly in case of kingdom fungi. Apart from these two major types, open and closed mitosis, there is another type of the mitosis named as semi-open mitosis. Again, the name itself is suggesting that there is something in between of closed and open. So in this particular case, the nuclear membrane is not completely degraded and it's not completely present as well. So there is a partial degradation of the nuclear membrane, okay, through which some part will go out and it will, like there will be some kind of new spindle fiber formation, etc. But definitely the nuclear membrane will not be intact, neither it will be a breakdown straightway. So there is a partial degradation. When I say partial, at some point it will be broken, at some point it will be intact. Okay, so these are the three important types of mitosis. I hope now you understand. So the diagram here just shows the how it happens. So you can see in case of flows, this happens in case of Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Example दिया है. Generally in case of fungus, as I mentioned. Then there is a semi-open, which happens in case of this Saccharomyces japonicus and Ustilagomydes, which is again a fungus. And then the open, which mainly occurs in most of the eukaryotic cells like human cells. Okay, जहाँ पे nuclear membrane will get degraded and it will then again reappear. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then there was a question on anestral mitosis कि वो क्या होता है. So anestral mitosis is, so there are two types, astral mitosis and anestral mitosis. Okay, since the question was based on anestral mitosis, first I will explain what is anestral and then we will again thoda sa little bit we will see what is astral as well. So in case of anestral mitosis, the spindle fibers are actually formed. So we all know during metaphase there is a spindle fiber formation, जो कि chromosomes को equatorial point में hold करता है. Now there are multiple things, right? So in this kind of mitosis, the spindle fibers are formed, but there are no centrioles or asters are present. Okay, so I hope you remember there is a typical cell organelle known as centriole, which is present only in a animal cells but not in a plant cells. Okay, so when such kind of mitosis is taking place, जहाँ पे centriole is not present, it is called as anestral because centriole is the part जिसमें से asters are coming out. Now what are asters, that we will discuss in a coming up slide, but just understand the basic difference is अगर तुम्हारे पास centriole है, so it will give out the asters. So you can see यहाँ पे in a very first diagram जहाँ पे astral mention किया है, the yellow part here, the small yellow part is a centriole, and from this centriole some line-like structure, star-like structure is coming out. These are asters. Okay, so we say the asters are radiating out from the centriole, and this kind of mitosis is called as a astral mitosis. So you can see there are two centrioles which are present and the asters are there. This is called as a astral mitosis. In opposite, in case of anestral, there is no centriole, there are no asters coming out from centriole, and that's why it is called as anestral mitosis. The astral one is very commonly found in case of animals. Anestral one is very common in case of plants. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now a very basic difference between astral and anestral. I have taken this from online sources. If you search, you will also get it. So astral mitosis, anestral, already मैंने explain कर दिया है, but just to have a look up again. So in case of astral, as I mentioned, it is a cell division in which asters are formed at each pole of the spindle from centrioles. In case of anestral, it involves formation of a spindle fibers, but no centrioles or asters are seen. In case of astral, it is mainly observed in case of animal cells. But in case of anestral, it is mainly in case of plant cells. So why I'm giving you this kind of differentiation, because it can be they can ask you this for 1 or 2 mark or like a basic. Okay, in your case, I think tomorrow the exam भी हुआ रहेगा. But this gives you better idea in understanding the difference कि exactly है क्या. Okay. So there is a, so now you will say that what is the difference in this asters जो तुम aster acid बोल रहे हो कि radiate हो रहा है centriole से and all, and what how it is different from the spindle fibers. So there is another difference between the asters and the spindle fibers. So asters are something which is not really attached to the chromosome. However, spindle fibers are directly attached to the chromosome. Aster is a star-like structure, as I had shown you, like in this case, you can see, which is present at the each pole, but then it is actually coming out from the centriole. Okay, the spindle fibers runs between the two daughter centrioles. So ये जो central part दिख रहा है, जो दो poles को connect कर रहा है, that is the spindle fibers. However, asters are this something जो यहाँ पे, just a minute, yeah, so these are the asters and these are the spindle fibers. So they run, so as I mentioned, the spindle fibers will be running between the two daughter centrioles. And the third difference is, like as I said, asters are coming from the centrioles, so they radiate out from the centrioles, but the spindle fibers are actually synthesized from the microtubules. What are microtubules? Anyone? What are microtubules? To which type of organelles it belongs? कौन से कैटेगरी में आता है ये?
Centrioles.
No, sorry. So there are different types of cell organelles, right? जैसे कि mitochondria है, chloroplast है. So microtubules, then intermediate filament. ये सब कौन सी कैटेगरी में आएगा? क्या टाइप, कौन सा टाइप?
Cytoskeleton.
Very good, Nikita. It is cytoskeleton, and there are different types, right? So microtubule is one of the important type of the cytoskeleton, and it is mainly made up of the protein named as beta.
Tubulin.
Yeah, very good. Tubulin. Okay, so that's why even spindle fibers are made up of tubulin. Okay, so the precursor protein जो है उसका वो tubulin ही रहता है. Okay, so based on this, there are multiple different conditions which were observed. ये सिर्फ तुम लोग के, see, this is not really relevant directly to your question, but why I put this diagram here for your understanding, just for your understanding. So there are different conditions. So there's something called as monoastral bipolar, जहाँ पे दो poles तो है, but only at one pole centriole and the asters are present. So such condition is called as monoastral bipolar. Then there is something called as anastral bipolar, मतलब यहाँ पे दो poles तो है, but there is no centriole or asters are present. Okay. Then there is something called as monopolar, जहाँ पे only one pole is present. Yeah, sorry. Then yeah, and this is just the upper view of the monopolar, जहाँ पे you can see the chromosomes in a blue color, and ये बीच में जो pink है, that is the centrioles. And then there is some abnormal condition also, जहाँ पे multipolar thing will be observed. So you can see there are multiple centrioles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there are multiple sets of spindle fibers will be there and all. So this is an abnormal condition, but it is observed in most of the cases, like cancer, very commonly, जहाँ पे cells are behaving where cells are actually behaving abnormally, जहाँ पे uncontrolled kind of proliferation होते रहता है and all. In such cases, such kind of multipolar multipolar centrioles वगैरह are observed. Okay, this is just for information, nothing else. Okay, it's just to make you aware that there are multiple types and how does it differ. So when I say monoastral क्या होता है, anastral क्या होता है, monopolar क्या होता है, and multipolar क्या होता है, वो दिखाने के लिए. So that's all with respect to the, yeah, one more thing, sorry. So when I was reading this, I got this one differentiate between from one of the study website known as eVidyarthi. You can also look into this website. So they have given these animal cell and plant cell differences. differences with respect to cell division. Okay, so you can say mitosis in animal cell and mitosis in a plant cell, or what are the major differences. So I hope all of you can see this. So I will not read it for you, but if you want, you can just take a screenshot of this and keep it. So, or I will just read it for you. So very first difference is the centrole is present, centrole is absent. Then in case of animal cells, the cytokinesis is by furrowing of the cytoplasm. However, in case of plant cell, it is with the help of the cell plate formation. And in case of animal cells, the microfilament ring brings about the cleavage. In case of plant cells, there is no such thing is involved. Okay, animal cells में mitosis almost all the cells में होता है. Plant cells में it occurs mainly in the case of meristematic tissue. Okay. In case of animal cells, the cell does not change their forms or nature at the time of mitosis, but in case of plant cells, the cells change their morphology, so they become rounded and its cytoplasm becomes more viscous during the cell division. In case of animal cells, the intercellular spaces between the intercellular spaces which appears between the daughter lamella. In case of plant cells, there are no such kind of intercellular spaces, and the daughter cells remain adhere together, okay, with the middle lamina. Then in case of animal cells, the mitosis is controlled by the certain mitogens. So mitogens are the components which can stimulate the process of mitosis. So there are few chemicals अगर तुमने cells अगर तुमने डाल दिए in the cells, so that will enhance the rate of cell division. Okay. Also there is something called as mitotic inhibitors as well, जो कि तुम्हारा process inhibit करेंगे. Have you ever heard about something called as colchicine? Colchicine,
Yes,
what does it do?
सर उसका क्वेश्चन भेजा था.
Sorry.
उसका क्वेश्चन भेजा था.
Okay, अभी तक actually मेरे पास कुछ आया नहीं है. So I don't know, but anyone else? ठीक है, वो क्वेश्चन तो हम लोग देख ही लेंगे. That is not an issue. I'm just asking what is colchicine. Any idea क्या करता है ये?
प्रीकर्सर.
Precursor of what? Okay, first thing, it is not really a precursor. Second thing, it is a kind of mitotic inhibitor. Okay, so colchicine is obtained from a organism known as Colchicum. अभी उसका species name मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, but Colchicum something, and it's उसका काम ये है कि it inhibits the spindle fiber formation. तो तुम्हारा सेल डिवीजन आगे प्रोसेस नहीं हो पाएगा. सो इफ यू वांट टू stop the cell division or inhibit the cell division process, you add colchicine in a medium and it will inhibit the cell division. Okay, the colchicine inhibits the spindle fiber formation. I hope this is clear. Okay, and it is a mitotic inhibitor. There is something else also called as mitomycin. So mitomycin is also another cell division inhibitor. और अगर हम लोग को कोई सेल्स को मतलब we just want to observe कि सेल्स का ग्रोथ होता है या नहीं. Not, I'm not saying division, okay, only growth. So in this case we generally give cells mitomycin so that all the cells will be in the same phase. So यहाँ पे division होगा नहीं, वहाँ पे सिर्फ cells का size बढ़ेगा, उनका growth होगा. So it is again another type of mitotic inhibitor known as mitomycin. Okay, this is just for your information and for NEET preparation. So I really expect you all to note down such kind of things जो मैं ऐसे somewhere randomly बता देता हूँ. Okay, so okay, we were at the point mitogen. So in case of animal cells, as I said, the division is controlled by mitogens. In case of plant cell, the division is controlled by the hormone known as cytokinin. Okay, so in case of plant, there are 4 major hormones. Do you know which are those? कौन से 4 hormones? Yeah, sorry.
cytokinin, gibberellin, ethylene, abscisic acid.
Yeah, and one
Auxin.
important, yeah,
Auxin.
yeah. So out of this So you said 5. Out of this 5, abscisic acid is kind of a stress hormone, and the other 4 are mainly depending on the conditions, they stimulate the growth. Okay, but yeah, there are 5 then. If you consider abscisic acid also, yeah, it is a plant hormone, no doubt. But with respect to growth, there are 4 mainly: auxin, gibberellin, ethylene, and cytokinin. Out of which auxins and cytokinins are very important with respect to the plant growth. So auxin stimulates the rhizogenesis, that is the growth of roots. Okay, and cytokinin stimulates the collagenesis, that is the growth of shoots. And overall, अगर सिर्फ सेल डिवीजन ही करना है प्लांट्स में, तो cytokinin is one of the important factor. But अगर मुझे कोई प्लांट में, let's say I have a plant and I want to grow, उसका shoot ज्यादा बड़ा and root, मतलब I want to make a differences, I want to do a trial. So by varying the concentration of the auxin and cytokinin, I can play around, because these two play important role in development of the root and the shoot. Okay, and the next difference point is the in case of animal cells, the mid body is formed at the equator of the spindle. In case of plant cells, the equator of the spindle changes into the phragmoplast. So someone also had asked me something about phragmoplast, that also we will discuss in the coming up slide. Okay, and then as we know, in case there is a furrow formation, right, in case of animal cells, so that actually happens centripetally in case of animal cells and centrifugally in case of plant cells. But there is no furrow formation in case of any plant cells. There is directly a cell plate formation from the phragmoplast. Okay, and the last one, as we just discussed, asters are formed in case of animal cells and asters are actually absent in case of plant cells. So this is just a basic difference, but I think one of the important one, and all of you should know all these differences. It will help you for your preparation. Okay, so I hope, so I actually don't remember किसने ये question पूछा था. So whoever that girl was, please unmute yourself and let me know कि is it clear now? Open, close, and astral.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Sir, Manali.
Yeah, Manali. Yes, yes, Manali. So any other question, Manali?
No, sir. Phragmoplast पूछा था, वो आप बताने वाले हो.
हाँ, that is the next thing. Okay, so let's come to the phragmoplast now. So yes, even in a last lecture, I said it is something related to cell plate formation in case of plant. So that was also true. So this is the plant cell specific structure, which is formed during the cytokinesis, that is the division of cell division. And what does it mean? What is phragmoplast? It is actually a complex assembly of microtubule, actin filament, and the associated molecules, which will help you to form a cell plate. Okay, so at this moment, actually, I don't want you to go in that much detail कि उसका mechanism क्या है, structure क्या है. What you need to keep in mind, phragmoplast is something that will help in a cell plate formation. So phragmoplast, you can say it is the precursor molecules or precursor component from which the cell plate will be formed. Okay, so and it will also help in a subsequent formation of a cell wall that will be separating the two cells into daughter cells. So just to give a diagrammatic representation, let's say this is a cell. It would have been better, but ठीक है, square भी चल जाएगा. Yeah. So you can see this is the first. This is the one cell जहाँ पे अभी nuclear division हो चुका है, and there is this phragmoplast which are present on the and these are, so these lines you can see, these are the phragmoplast, and the central green part is nothing but the membrane bound vesicles. So with time, this phragmoplast will get rise to, or it will form the cell plate, which is a complete one partition between the two nuclei now, sorry. And now ultimately the cell plate जो form हुआ है, that will give rise to the cell wall, and you can see in the third image here, the two cells, like it is completely divided into two parts. So you can see the one cell जो था in the initial picture, now we are having a two complete cells. So its complete role is to form a cell plate, which will then ultimately form the cell wall and separate the two daughter cells. okay, and it is the structure जो फॉर्म होता है ड्यूरिंग साइटोकाइनेसिस. अगर हम लोग उसका स्ट्रक्चर का कंपोनेंट देखें तो इट मेनली इंक्लूड्स द माइक्रोट्यूबुल्स, actin filament and some associated molecules. Okay, now is this clear, Manali?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. After that there was a question on DCMU. DCMU is an inhibitor. So Nikita had asked me the full form. So it is a 3,3,4 dichlorophenyl 1,1 dimethylurea. So dichloro DC dimethylurea MU. Okay, so this is the typical type of herbicide which is very selective and very specific in this section, and it was observed that this herbicide can be act as a inhibitor of photophosphorylation. Okay, so the moment I say it inhibits the photophosphorylation, it means it will ultimately inhibit the entire process of photosynthesis. Okay, so अगर मैंने फोटोफॉस्फोराइलेशन ही इनहिबिट किया तो मेरा लाइट रिएक्शन नहीं होगा, लाइट रिएक्शन नहीं होगा तो आगे कुछ होगा ही नहीं. Okay, so how it actually works, उसका mode of action क्या है? So DCMU actually competes with the one of the important molecule involved in the phosphorylation pathway, which is a plastoquinone. Okay, so it competes with the plastoquinone for the binding site in the photosystem 2. So the moment DCMU bind, so see, instead of plastoquinone जो फोटोसिस्टम को बाइंड होता है इन नॉर्मल कंडीशन, उसकी जगह पे अभी क्या होगा, DCMU जाके बाइंड करेगा, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस देयर विल बी अ कॉम्प्लेक्स बिटवीन फोटोसिस्टम एंड DCMU. प्लास्टोक्विनोन पिक्चर में आएगा ही नहीं. एंड व्हाट इज प्लास्टोक्विनोन? इट इज द इलेक्ट्रॉन कैरियर, राइट. जो भी इलेक्ट्रॉन फोटोसिस्टम 2 से निकलेगा दैट विल बी टेकन अप बाय द प्लास्टोक्विनोन. बट अभी प्लास्टोक्विनोन पिक्चर में है ही नहीं, उसकी जगह पे क्या आ गया है, DCMU आ गया है. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्या होगा, देयर विल बी no electron flow, so it will inhibit the electron flow from the photosystem 2 to the plastoquinone, and the moment the electron flow stops between these two components, there will be no further electron transfer, no phosphorylation, no photophosphorylation, no photosynthesis. Okay, that is just the mechanism of action कि वो कैसे काम करता है. But you need to understand that it only inhibits, like it only competes with the plastoquinone, which is actually binding site for photosystem 2. So it will only affect the photosystem 2. It has no effect on photosystem 1 or any other reaction of photosynthesis as such, like light absorption or carbon fixation in the Kelvin cycle. Okay, so it can only inhibit the photosystem 2 of the photosystem 2 of the light reaction of photosynthesis. Okay, so is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what was the exact question, but I hope this answers your question. तुमने से DCMU का full form पूछा था, but exactly question क्या था I don't know. So I hope this is sufficient enough to answer any question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Then there was a question on plastocyanin. मैंने लास्ट टाइम भी वही बोला था कि इट इज इलेक्ट्रॉन कैरियर. थोड़ा मोर डिटेल्स बताऊंगा अभी. दैट इज द कॉपर कंटेनिंग प्रोटीन. जनरली वी कॉल इट एज अ मेटालोप्रोटीन. ओके, सो बिकॉज मेटालोप्रोटीन मतलब क्या, द प्रोटीन व्हिच कंटेन्स मेटल. So as a prosthetic group you can say, as a cofactor you can say. This is a metalloprotein which contains copper and play a very important role in the electron transport process, which is associated with the photosynthesis because it is an electron carrier. So it serves as electron transfer agent between the cytochrome complex. It is actually mainly with respect to the non-cyclic photophosphorylation I'm talking about. जहाँ पे cyclic and non-cyclic का एक कॉमन पॉइंट है, जहाँ पे साइक्लिक से हम लोग नॉन साइक्लिक में जंप करते हैं. और वी कैन से फोटोसिस्टम 2 से फोटोसिस्टम 1 का जो कनेक्टिंग पॉइंट है, एट दिस पॉइंट दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लास्टोसाइनिन विल बी acting as electron transfer and transferring the electron to the next to the photosystem 1. So I like whatever the case is, you just need to keep in mind two things. It is a copper containing protein which is mainly a metalloprotein, and it is involved in a electron transport of a phosphorylation reaction. Okay, फिर you can, if you want details, you can see exactly उसका लोकेशन कहाँ पे और वो कौन से कंपोनेंट्स के बीच में इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसफर कर रहा है. That can be additional thing. If you can remember, that is the best thing to do. Okay, same goes for the plastoquinone also. As I mentioned, it is a quinone based molecules which is involved in the electron transport chain, and again अगर इसको inhibit किया तो light reaction inhibit हो जाएगा. So this is, I'm really not going in detail with respect to structure and all, because that is not required at this point. What I feel is required, I'm giving you. But still, at any point, if you feel that ki, okay, कहीं पे question आया था and they talked about the structure and all, you can always come back to me and we can discuss it detail. But at this level, I really don't think that is required. So I hope this will answer your questions. Okay. So the next question was, yeah, I think this question was also from Nikita. So I hope this is clear.
Yes.
Yeah. Then there was a question from Sharon about the genes involved into nitrogen fixation. So first thing I wanted to ask, do you know what is nitrogen fixation?
Yes.
What is nitrogen fixation? Yes, Mula, शायद किसी ने, right? So I'm just asking, what is it? बोलो. Hello. Sharon, what is nitrogen fixation? तो तुम सर्च कर रहे हो मोबाइल पे अभी. If you don't know, that's fine. Okay, it's not like कि आना ही चाहिए. I know, because what I know कि ये शायद तुम्हें 12th में रहेगा in detail. So that's why I'm just concerned and asking कि तुम्हें पता है क्या? If you don't know, there is no point in discussing about the genes. I will discuss in brief about nitrogen fixation process, and then we can talk about the genes.
Yes.
हाँ, तो बोलो पता है या नहीं पता है?
नहीं पता.
हाँ, so it's okay, right? So yeah, sorry. Nitrogen fixation. The name itself, something जहाँ पे हम लोग नाइट्रोजन को फिक्स कर रहे हैं. When I say नाइट्रोजन को फिक्स कर रहे हैं, it means हम लोग, so you all know now carbon fixation, right? या फिर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड फिक्सेशन. वहां पे हम लोग क्या करते हैं? What does it mean? What do we do in case of carbon dioxide fixation? Like we do insects, plants do. Which cycle is involved in carbon dioxide fixation? Bolo, which cycle is involved in a carbon dioxide fixation?
Kelvin cycle.
Yes. और हम लोग वो कैसे करते हैं? क्या करते हैं हम लोग? When we say we are fixing up the carbon dioxide, क्या होता है exactly वहां पे?
RUBP के साथ CO2 react.
हाँ, that is fine. Ultimately हम लोग CO2 को कर क्या रहे हैं? उसका क्या कन्वर्जन कर रहे हैं? CO2 is converted into?
Sugar.
Yes, sugar.
Glucose.
Yeah, very good. Glucose. So the same. So in case of carbon fixation, CO2, which was an inorganic component, is converted into sugar, or let's say glucose, which was an organic component. Similar thing happens in case of nitrogen fixation. जहाँ पे atmospheric nitrogen is fixed by some bacteria to convert it into ammonia. So basically, all the living organisms require three components for survival. Or I should say in terms of elements, so three elements. It is CHON. So let me make it 4 component. I'm sorry. So when I say 3 components, basically protein, sugar, and some growth factors. Okay. And in terms of elements, it's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Very, very important for their growth. So this particular organisms required nitrogen. अगर nitrogen नहीं रहेगा, so this organism cannot survive. तो ऑब्वियसली अभी हर टाइम उनको नाइट्रोजन नेचर में मिलेगा ही इज नॉट दैट, लाइक ऐसा गारंटी नहीं है ना कि हमेशा मिलता ही रहेगा कर. So they have to have some kind of mechanism by which they will fix up the nitrogen. And not only organisms like bacteria, there are plants also which require this component. So what happens? There are these organisms called as nitrogen fixing organisms. Very common example is the rhizobium species. Okay, so this nitrogen fixing का process में क्या होता है? The similar way, the atmospheric nitrogen जो रहता है उसको हम लोग convert करते हैं into the ammonia, which is a organic form. So like ammonia and further to nitrate and like it is a series step of reaction. Okay, series of reaction. So nitrate, nitrite, and ammonia. So this kind of process is actually carried out by this nitrogen fixing organisms, and these organisms are mainly found in the roots of leguminous plants. Okay, so I hope you know there are some. I hope you know plants are classified into different families. So you will say Leguminosae, Fabaceae, Asteraceae, Solanaceae. This is just some families. Okay, जिसके अंदर different plants आते हैं. So this one type of family called as Leguminosae, or you can say Fabaceae also to the same. जिसके roots में there are small nodules which are formed. Inside these nodules, these organisms like a rhizobium will stay and they will carry out the process of nitrogen fixation. And जो भी नाइट्रोजन फिक्स करेंगे वो प्लांट को भी प्रोवाइड करेंगे और खुद भी लेंगे. So it is kind of symbiotic relationship जहाँ पे प्लांट को भी नाइट्रोजन मिलेगा by this particular process. ये सिर्फ just for extra information. The major फंडा here is नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन का मतलब क्या है? एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन को कन्वर्ट करना into ammonia or nitrate or nitrite, whatever in the intermediate steps. Okay, and why I explain you about the Leguminosae? Because the one gene which they have mentioned here is a knot, which actually carry out the nodulation part, which happens in those kind of plants like Leguminosae and the Rhizobium. Okay, so the answer to this question is node, nif, and fix. I really don't know what is the fix all about, but node and nif I could get information. So node, as I said, it will help in a nodulation. Nif is something that encodes for the enzyme nitrogenase, and that is the important key enzyme that will convert the atmospheric nitrogen into the ammonia. Okay, that will encode nitrogenase. And fix is something gene. I'm not very sure, but I'm just telling you based on what little bit I can understand from the entire process. It is something that will just help into the fixation process. Okay, but उसका exact function even I did not get, but I will keep on looking. अगर कुछ मिलता है, so I will let you know. But the cluster of genes, then there are 3 genes: node, nif, and fix. Okay, I hope this answers your question, Sharon.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Then there were some questions based on light harvesting complex and the antenna complex, or the antenna complex and the core complex. Okay, so light harvesting complex, also called as the antenna complex. This is nothing but the complex of all the pigments and all present in a thylakoid membrane. Okay, so this contains all the accessory pigments like chlorophyll B and the chlorophyll, other types of chlorophylls, even the xanthophylls and all. Yes, or some other proteins. ये सब रहेंगे यहाँ पे in antenna molecules, जिनका काम रहेगा to take the energy. Okay, so sunlight जब भी आएगा उसमें से energy ये लोग ले लेंगे, and that energy will be transferred to the chlorophyll A molecule, which is present at the reaction center. And that's why this is called as the antenna complex or the light harvesting complex, because they will harvest all the light and give it to the one molecule, that is the chlorophyll A molecule. Apart from that, there is something called as core molecular reaction center, which includes the chlorophyll A molecules mainly. और इनका काम रहेगा कि जो भी एनर्जी इन्होंने रिसीव किया है from the other molecules, based on that energy, now this will release out it will get excited and release out the electron, and this electron will be then taken up by the other electron carrier, जैसे कि हमने देखे थे plastophenone, plastocyanin, cytochromes and all, which will be then transferred further and you will get the energy out of it. Okay, so that are the two terms which was there yesterday, which were asked in the last lecture: antenna complex or a core complex and a reaction center. Okay, just the name, I know टर्म्स डिफरेंट है इसलिए यार कंफ्यूजन हुआ रहेगा, बट आई थिंक ये सब तो हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया था अबाउट द क्लोरोफिल मॉलिक्यूल्स एंड एक्सेसरी पिगमेंट्स वगैरह. सो दैट्स ऑल, दैट इज इट. मतलब सिर्फ नाम अलग है. तो आई होप दिस आंसर्स द क्वेश्चन जिसने भी पूछा था.
Yes.
या गुड. Yeah, and then there is one more question जो I think Sharon ने ही पूछा था. I just have a doubt in the question itself because मैंने पूरा लिखा नहीं था. So you had said that there is a grasshopper with the 100 cells in a G2 phase, and the total number of cells you want to know in a case of.
ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं.
So that's why I did not get the question only, and that's why I could not answer the exact, like I couldn't answer the exact thing what they are asking. तो मुझे इसका आंसर ही नहीं समझ रहा कि क्या करना है. So please read the question again and then we will try.
If grasshopper cell contain 200 units of DNA during G2 phase, what would be the quantity of DNA in the end of telophase 2?
100 N, right? यूनिट मतलब क्या बोल रहा है अभी, वो उन्होंने कुछ मेंशन नहीं किया है, तो आई विल टेक इट इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स ओनली. तो लेट्स से 100 ओनली, राइट? बिकॉज़ ऑप्शन में 100 है, राइट?
ऑप्शन में 100
है ना?
हाँ, पर आंसर 50 दिए.
ओके, 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 ओके. तो ग्रासहॉपर के पास 200 यूनिट्स ऑफ डीएनए है and they want us to tell in a G2 phase. So they want us to get the DNA in a telophase 2, right?
Yes.
So if I see this diagram, let's say G2 में यहाँ पे होगा 2N, okay, in interface. I hope my okay. Let me get the point now. Yeah, I hope this diagram is clearly visible to everyone. So in case of G2, which is a part of interface, 200 है. Out of 200, then we are coming towards, let's say at the end of telophase 1, उसका half हो जाएगा, so 1 का 2 हो जाएगा, and ultimately at the end of there will be 4. So यहाँ तक आने के लिए maybe 50, जितना मुझे लग रहा है it should be 100, but in terms of okay, we will discuss this question again in our next class. Maybe I need to check again कि वो G2 at this moment what I am saying, like 100, why I am saying, because I am just considering as a reduction division. So even though I am getting 4 cells, definitely it should get the half of the nucleus, right? Like half of the chromosome. So that's why I'm saying 100. अगर 50 बोल रहा है तो उसका 4 टाइम डिवाइड हो रहा है, तो वो कैसे हो रहा है एक बार देखना पड़ेगा. Are you sure this answer is correct, right?
Yes.
Anyone else want to answer this question जो शरण ने पूछा है और उनको पता है? Yes, no, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता शरण के आंसर आया नहीं आया. ये तुम लोग बात नहीं करते यार आजकल, मतलब बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. ठीक है, नो वरीज. शरण, I will ask you answer your question tomorrow or in the next class.
Yes.
Apart from that, there were 2 more questions from you. I'm sorry I could not really get time to do that question about Munch hypothesis and water potential of plant. So वो 2 questions बचे हैं, I know, but I will do it in the next class. Apart from that, there is a one question from Mayuresh. So Mayuresh, yes, if you are there, let me know. तुमने पूछा था कि light reaction explain करो वापस से, but exactly which part you want to
सर साइक्लिक फोटोफॉस्फोराइलेशन का वो ब्लू कलर के इस डायग्राम में जो रिएक्शन है ना, बस उसको
just a minute, I will just open that thing.
सर मैंने और क्वेश्चन भेजे थे सर।
यार बट मेरे पास वो आए ही नहीं अभी तक। आई विल आस्क सर, बट अभी तक मुझे नहीं मिले हैं वो क्वेश्चंस जो तुमने भेजे हैं। तो डेफिनेटली वो आ जाएंगे, सर भेजेंगे, बट अभी तक तो नहीं आएंगे।
यस
टिल देन या ओके फाइन। Cyclic photophosphorylation, right? So, okay, fine, I got it. Yeah, so तुम ये diagram बोल रहे हो, right, Naresh?
यस सर।
Okay. So in case of cyclic photophosphorylation, first thing why it is cyclic photophosphorylation, because the electron which is released from the photosystem 1 is coming back to the same photosystem again, and that's why the process becomes cyclic, because the same electron is coming back. So क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? It involves only one photosystem first thing तो, which is photosystem 1. photosystem 1 बोलेंगे तो कौन सा वेवलेंथ आएगा? It is P680 और P700.
700।
Very good. So P700 से जैसे ही light आएगा from let's say chlorophyll A and the other molecules, it will excite the photosystem 1 and electrons will be released, which will be taken up by the different electron carriers. Okay. जैसे कि in case of non-cyclic also there are many like plastocyanone, plastocyanine and all. In this case also there are multiple electron carriers. The very first here is the FRS. उसका full form है ferrous reducing substance. Ferrous reducing substance. Okay. So FRS will then release the electrons to the next molecule, that is the ferredoxine. ये सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रॉन कैरियर से, इनका काम है कि इलेक्ट्रॉन लेना, इलेक्ट्रॉन देना. ओके, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन देना जो ferredoxine ने लिया है, that will be then transported to the next couple of molecules which include cytochrome. So from ferredoxine to cytochrome B6 जब इलेक्ट्रॉन जाएगा, there will be a process of phosphorylation taking place जहाँ पे ADP will be converted into ATP. So this is the first place जहाँ पे ATP formation हो रहा है in photophosphorylation. From cytochrome B6 to cytochrome F, again when the electron is passing, the second ATP molecule will be synthesized. Sorry. And from cytochrome F, again the final electron will be taken up by the plastocyanine and given back to the photosystem 1. यहाँ पे तुम्हें याद क्या रखना है कि it is a cyclic process. यहाँ पे PS1 है which is P700, and in this entire process दो ATP molecules का synthesis हो रहा है. Okay. Anything
Yes, sir.
else specific
सर
you
वो
want to?
ADP plus PI में PI क्या है?
Yeah, in case of ADP plus PI, so ADP is a adenine diphosphate.
डाइफॉस्फेट।
Yeah, and PI is a inorganic phosphate. तो जब भी मैं ADP में which is diphosphate एक extra phosphate add करूंगा, PI मतलब inorganic phosphate. Sometimes people write it as a IP also, sometimes they write as a PI also. तो इसका मतलब इतना ही है कि it indicates the inorganic phosphate. तो जब भी मैं diphosphate में एक extra phosphate add करूंगा, it will give me triphosphate, and that's why we get the ATP here.
यस
Okay.
सर, समझा।
Yeah. Anything else?
No,
Anyone have any questions from the photosynthesis part? Because अभी PPT on है, so I don't want to go back and again.
सर जेड स्किन क्या है?
Yeah, I think it is also name of non-cyclic photophosphorylation only. उसी को हम लोग Z-skin भी बोलते हैं. But I need to confirm. This is एक्चुअली आई थिंक नॉन साइक्लिक ही है, बट आई विल कंफर्म वन से।
नॉन साइक्लिक में जी।
हाँ, इट इज नॉट एक्चुअली, जेड स्कीम उसको ही बोलते हैं नॉन साइक्लिक को। अभी वो क्यों बोलते हैं मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, बट आई विल लुक इनटू इट।